back, everybody, to another Wednesday Whiskey Review. We are the Buffalo Happy Hour Podcast, and today we have Heaven Hill's Mellow Corn.
Perfect.
What's wrong?
I don't really know how I feel about it yet.
Why? What are your first impressions of it? What do you think?
I have a feeling that this is not going to taste good.
And what are your thought processes behind that? Because the reason that I bring that up is I think most people have that same impression when you look at this bottle. So why do you feel like it's not going to be good?
Because sometimes, Derek, you throw a wrench in the plans, and I thought we were going to have some nice, eloquent spirit today.
Didn't we have Whiskey Drummer like 2 weeks ago?
And I walk in and see this concoction from Heaven Hill. So let's start by opening it, and then we'll dive into label branding, because we don't even know what this smells like.
Correct. I've never had this, and neither have you. So a little bit about Heaven Hill. This is
It's 100 proof?
Yeah, so it's mellow corn. It's bottled in bond, which for bottled in bond, it has to be bottled at exactly 100 proof. It has to be kept in a government-controlled warehouse for 4 years. And if you don't know much about whiskey, and we even know a lot about whiskey, but we still have this impression that it's not good. Also, you can pick this up for $17.99 at Addie's. So this particular spirit won the 2010 San Francisco World Spirits Competition with a gold.
Well, that's San Francisco. So.
2014 WSWA Spirits Tasting Competition, double gold. And in 2015, the World Whiskey Awards Best American Whiskey Non-Bourbon. So a few talking points. This whiskey actually first came into production in 1945. It was originally produced by Medley Distillery Company in Owensboro, Kentucky. Heaven Hill acquired this distillery in 1993 through their deal with United Distillers and continued the production of mellow corn from there. So when Heaven Hill first initially acquired the United Distillers, or that part of the deal, the owner of Heaven Hill was more concerned with getting within that deal Old Fitzgerald, Dubonnet, and Grand Canadian, which is the reason why they acquired that in the first place. But when the owner saw mellow corn on the able to be acquired list, the owner was like, "You want us to take this?" And they're like, "Yeah, just throw it in there." So they didn't even really want it back before they acquired it.
Okay.
So a little bit about this particular whiskey. So in order for a product to be considered a straight corn whiskey, the mash bill needs to be at least 80% corn. So that's what differentiates it, obviously, from a regular whiskey, because regular whiskey, it just has to be, regular bourbon, it just has to be at least 51% corn. And it has to be aged for at least 4 years, and this is the interesting part, in once-used bourbon barrels.
Once used.
Yeah, so these aren't new char oak. You
Right.
can also age this in new uncharred barrels. So basically, just not seasoned barrels at all.
Okay.
So when you look at this bottle and you look at the color of this whiskey, it is very light.
Yeah, well, it screams corn.
Right. And the reason why it's so light is because it's all of that charring and color and caramel coloring and everything basically went into the bourbon that the barrel was originally used for. And this is taking the afters of that, or a barrel that wasn't even charred or toasted, which is interesting. So, all the deep colors are no longer attainable. Bottled in bond. So in order to be called bottled in bond, we already talked about this, but the whiskey must be a product of one distillation season and one distiller at a single distillery, aged in a federally bonded warehouse under U.S. government supervision for at least 4 years, and it must be bottled at exactly 100 proof. Additionally, the bottled in bond label must clearly identify the distillery where it was distilled and where it was bottled, if different. So this particular bottle, it is 90% corn and 10% of a combination of rye and malted barley, and it's 100 proof.
All right.
So, what are you thinking?
Label branding. It screams cornstalk. It's got a cornstalk on the label. There's a lot of yellow going on, so I assume if you have this outside, be careful because bees may show up. They sprinkle in some green, which I think is a nice contrast to that, and then it dives into what you just read in regards to proof, its name, where it's made, and it's a glass bottle, no wooden cork, therefore it cannot be an A on our grading scheme, so I'm going to go B.
I agree. It doesn't scream. So that's kind of why I wanted you to elaborate when you said you're not excited for this, because this bottle itself does not scream a high quality product at all.
No.
There is nothing to it. I mean, the yellow label is literally a plain yellow label with writing on it.
If you're an actor and you're considered a B actor, this is what you would look like if you were whiskey. Like, you're not an A celeb, you know, just run of the mill. You just left Broadway and you're trying to make it on the big screen. This is you.
Okay, so I want you to stick with that analogy. You've been on an analogy roll lately, which we'll talk about in the regular episode releasing on Monday. But I want you to keep that thought process in your mind. And at the end of this whiskey review, I want you to name an actor that this perfectly fits.
Well, I only know like one B actor, so there's that.
Anyway,
Nose,
so nose. What do you get on the nose?
a moderate level of success, very similar to a B actor. You do get, obviously you do get kind of like the aftermath of burnt corn, but you do get some honey and really like this weird, I can't name it yet, other ingredient that I'm picking up. So give me some time to pick it up, because it's not ethanol, but it's not sugar either.
I'm getting like a candy corn.
Thank you.
And then you also pick up like a little bit of the hay, but the hay has been
Something happened.
aerosolized.
Yeah, something happened.
Yeah, like maybe
Like, not like a fire, but something is going on.
I was going to go like a barn burnt down. And that's kind of what you're getting after.
I wasn't going to go that far.
That's what I'm going with.
An aerosol can makes, not like I'm huffing in a parking lot of an old Rite Aid that is vacant now, but yeah, something is going on in the nose, but I'm going to stick with those two. So on the nose, I'm going to rate it like a B, because it's kind of run-of-the-mill. Oh, okay, like it is still whiskey, but you don't really pick up really profound notes like you would with a standard bourbon out of Kentucky.
Yeah.
Specifically from Heaven and Hell.
I'll go B. I think that's pretty good. Want to write it down, friend?
Well, I got to write a lot of things down now.
Yeah, hell yeah, you do. So, going green this time. I like it.
Also, it's Heaven Hell.
What?
I said Heaven and Hell. Threw an and in there.
I mean,
All right, so
Sure.
it's corn
Adam and Eve.
mash.
It's corn
Mellow
whiskey.
corn.
Yeah,
Mellow
mellow
corn.
corn. So label branding, we gave it a B. Nose, we gave it a B. Maybe we won't write. You might have to like warm it up, bud. I don't know what you think it is in here.
Not even green tip. It was just straight white.
Yes, so you had to warm it up.
No, it's gone.
No, it hasn't even
passed away.
started
It
yet.
passed away.
Thanks, folks, for joining. Okay, so B on the label branding, B on the nose. Initial taste is where it gets interesting. So for me, the initial taste is
Here we go.
you are walking in the springtime through a corn maze, and there's a lot of dust.
Are we in Eden?
Yes, Eden Corn Fest. That's what this reminds me of. Dude, that's straight stalk.
I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not running to the store to buy this.
It actually tastes like the stalk.
If you gnaw on a corn stalk, that's basically what is going on.
Or like, you know, when you peel it back, when you shuck the corn, shucks. When you shuck the corn, there's that like remnants of the stalk that stay on the corn, and then you eat that. That's what this tastes like.
Yeah, that little bit of white layer.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, I'm going like C+ on this initial taste.
Yeah.
This does like nothing for me, and the ending note is worse than the initial taste. I'm going C.
Okay. I'll go C. C+.
C+. C+, corn. That's what I wrote down. Initial taste? More corn. And it's the aftertaste of eating corn with no butter and no salt.
So when we're talking about corn, we're not talking about canned corn or
No.
creamed corn. I'm tasting straight corn on the cob.
Yeah, corn on the cob, right out of the field with Mother Earth. And that's your ending note.
You're getting a little bit of a spice, like very briefly. Like the corn dissipates, and there's a little bit of a, I don't even know what to call it. Like, it's not a baking spice or a pepper or anything, but it does have a little bit of a sting to it. I'd go C+ again on the ending note. I don't mind this. I think it's very interesting. And
we've had worse.
For the product and understanding what it is, I think it's a good product. I mean, it's 100 proof. You can tell it's 100 proof because it's spicy. It has good flavor to it. It's just a different flavor than what you're expecting. I don't hate this. And for $17, I would buy it.
$17.
I mean, I did buy it, so.
Correct. Yeah, you're literal proof of backing up your word. But yeah, I agree. C+, it's still not doing much for me, but that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm not going to run to the store and buy it.
Okay.
It's a good conversation starter for parties.
Yeah.
It is. I'll give it that. I'll definitely give it that. Because somebody's going to ask, like, the hell is that? And then you can go through the whole story and educate them, which I think, honestly, this label is good for that because you can easily reference what you're discussing on the label. But from a taste perspective, it's not going to lead the party.
I wonder what this would taste like. I know that corn whiskey has to be not in new charred oak barrels, but putting this in something freshly charred would be very good, I think.
Probably.
Like a high corn bourbon.
Right.
I don't know. All right, final rating.
Give me that countdown.
3, 2, 1. 85.
It's a
big gap.
85 and
gap.
72? That's probably the largest gap we've ever had on the show.
85. So 10, 13. So half of 13 is 6.5. So 72 plus 6.5 is 78.5.
78.5. Math. See, I got it right the first time.
That goes pretty consistent with what we actually rated it, though, like the B, B, C+, C+. I don't mind this. I think that to be quite frank with all of you in this show, because that's what we do here, I want to show you exactly what I'm experiencing. When it comes to corn whiskey, I haven't had another specifically corn whiskey before. Have you?
Not that I know of.
I don't know if I've ever seen it. And I think that Heaven Hill producing this is one of the last distilleries that are actually actively making a corn whiskey.
I feel like this is a byproduct where they're like, hey, we can still make $20.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's... I was reading an interview from the owner, and he was saying that it basically pays for itself. Like, there's no... It's not a necessity, but I think that they keep producing it. One, it's getting a lot of traction lately because it's a cheap whiskey. It has good flavors. Like, when you're getting a cheaper whiskey, you don't expect to have this wide of a flavor, which I think is why I gave it such a high score, is because this is a good product that is not artificially flavored. Like, you can get your cheap ginger spice, toffee, like, flavored whiskeys. This isn't a flavored whiskey. This is strictly corn.
See, and that's probably, to your point and to their credit, yeah, like you said, why it's doing well. Mm-hmm. Because it is, I think it's got its perfect spot in the whiskey universe.
And they're not charging a lot for this. I mean, again, $17.99 from Addie's. Thank you, Addie's, for providing us with all of our liquor needs. But if this was any higher priced, it wouldn't sell. I think it fits perfectly in the market as to what it is. It has good flavors. It's a good price for the actual product. And yeah, it's cool.
I'm with you.
I'm gnawing on corn right now. Do you want to go have some corn on the cob?
Water with it, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining. This has been the review of Mellow Corn from Heaven Hill Distillery. Appreciate you guys joining in. Please remember to subscribe, hit that like button, and comment down below what other whiskey you would like us to review. Please remember, if you're trying any of these products that we review, to drink responsibly, be a good person, and Michael,
do not litter.
We're out.